Hey everybody, welcome back to CBN Unscripted. I'm your host Jasmine Monk, and today we're doing something a little bit different. We are up close and in personal. We're on site at the TNBA Southern Regional Junior Tournament, and I'm so excited because I have a special guest here, someone I'm really glad or really honored to honestly call one of my great friends, Miss Cieara Watts. Cieara has done so much within the bowling community and for the bowling community, and so I thought it was only fit to bring her on. You guys may have heard me talk about her before, probably like in episode 1, but Cieara, why don't you tell everybody a little bit more about you and yourself, and really I want to touch on, TSU, like you going to TSU, how that really kind of shaped you into the person that you are today.
Well, let's see here. I bowled all the way. I've been bowling since I was 5 years old. So long time. But let's note, retired in 2017 after, a good 25 years of bowling. So, but I bowled throughout, since I was a kid, elementary school, middle school, high school. Even though I was an avid basketball player, bowling was something like you do that on the weekends. Saturday, Sunday, have youth league.
Sounds a lot like my story.
Right? Right? And so everybody knew me for basketball growing up. But then I had to come to the decision of, I was introduced to college bowling through Keith Bridgeford, which if you guys have followed her, you've heard that name come up as well. He told me, right? Shout out to Keith. So he told me about college bowling and introduced me to some coaches and things like that. But I was still on the verge of like going basketball. But then I had to look at my life beyond college. What does that look like? What opportunities are out there? And for women in basketball, it's 2026 and they're just now getting paid for what they're doing.
Yes.
So just imagine, 20 years ago,
yep.
They were playing in the WNBA and then they still had to work a part-time job, or they had to be teachers. It was teachers during the school year, and then in the summer they played ball.
Yeah.
And so I was like, when I thought about it, I was like, I don't want that to be my life. That's literally telling myself that I'm going to college to still have to work multiple jobs with my main focus being basketball, but that's not even paying my bills, right? So, I really had to have like a serious talk with myself and with my parents, and I was like, if my education needs to be my number one focus, let me go for bowling because I'm still getting a full ride scholarship. I still get the opportunity to travel. I still get the opportunity to win conference championships, which we did. And then it's like from there, now I have a degree, something I enjoy doing, and now I can have like a job and still bowl on the side if I wanted to after that.
Absolutely.
And so that's honestly how I made that decision on between playing ball in college or bowling in college.
If you aren't my friend, because that sounds just like my story, I promise I didn't tell her to say that.
And we're years apart, so it's not even like
actually get to bowl together.
You're right.
So I've loved that so much. It's so much of my story, so I resonate so much, and I'm sure everybody that's watching this does too. But I want to touch on your freshman year. Okay?
Yes.
So, and guys, I mentioned this in my other episode. She bowled at the only
Texas Southern University.
Texas Southern University. TSU Tigers. Come on now.
Let's go.
But I want to touch on your freshman year because I'm going to shift gears in just a second. Your freshman year, you got a what?
Oh, a conference championship.
A conference championship freshman year. So
which was actually a back-to-back. So that was good.
So let's touch on that a little bit. As a freshman, as an underclassman coming in, how was that experience for you?
It was amazing, right? Like, not knowing, I moved 18 hours away from where I grew up, right? 18 hours away. So that was a big leap. And then I'm going for bowling, which bowling had, I was good at bowling, but it wasn't my main sport. So I'm still moving now to making bowling my main sport. Was paying for my college, was doing all this, and so I'm like, okay, I show up to a school, and they're like, here's your teammates, this is where you'll be living, and be at practice, and I'm like, okay, That year we had 5 freshmen come in on the bowling team, and so they had the women's bowling team had just won the conference championship the year before I got there. And so they were still getting all these accolades. They were, the president was so behind us. We got a lot of recognition the year I was incoming. So I was like, oh, this is cool, right? Like,
TSU?
right. I wasn't even part of the winning team that year. Yeah. But coming into that, it was like, whoa, like, it really made me be like, oh, like, they're really about business around here. Yeah. And I want to keep that going. Mm-hmm. And so we go through the season, and I'm working my way into, a starting spot, right, on the team. Go. And then, and then becoming an anchor bowler. See? So, so that was amazing. But we had all-stars on our team. They literally just won a conference championship. And so I'll never forget, this was in the old format. The old format was before they had the Baker Bowling. I'm telling my age now, right? So they had it to where you bowl singles, doubles, and teams. It wasn't teams and Baker like how they do now. So we're bowling. We had both teams. We did pretty good. We bowled singles and did okay. And then it came to doubles. And I was paired up with another freshman, which was Tramel Thomas at the time. And we're paired up, and it's a close match, like between all the SWAC teams. And so it was literally coming down to doubles. Nobody was paying us any mind because they're like, oh, they're freshmen. Like, we're not really. Everybody was focused on our senior bowlers that have been there for a while. And so we like, hey, it's just us. Like, so we cruising, striking our butts off. Next thing you know, all attention turns to us. And Tramel and I did enough to help us win the SWAC championship. Like, 2 freshmen came in. Fire. And that's so it was cool. It was almost surreal, right? Like, in teams you have that recognition because you have like everybody coming together to help win that team event. But then singles and doubles, it's you and then you and your partner. Yeah. So people had kind of written us freshmen off. And so it was kind of cool to be able to come here and be the determining factor for another SWAC championship as freshmen. So I will never forget that.
Man, that's dope. That's dope. And it just says a lot about you and Tramel, your mindset, all the things, right? Most people that are freshmen, you're just kind of getting your feet wet. You don't really have it yet. So that just really shows a lot on how focused and mature you guys were coming in, right? So that's awesome. Yeah, I wanted her to share that. So I was like, that's wild.
Look, shout out to the Midwest because we was both from the Midwest. Tramel, Chicago. I came out of Indy. Midwest was represented in the South. That's all I'm saying.
I love that. I love that. So, all right, I kind of want to just switch gears just a little bit. So, the National Bowling Association, I talk about all the time, TNBA, very well-respected organization. And so, I know for you, right, and I have to just kind of put me in there just a little bit, I was awarded the opportunity, guys, because of this woman right here, to come out of college into a leadership position, running a whole region, the Southern region, and running this tournament alongside Cieara for the TNBA. And so I want to talk to you about that because you were the youngest director for the Southern Regional Tournament. So for you, what made you want to go into a leadership role? So we'll back up for a second. So you've been bowling since the age of 5.
Yep.
She bowled in college, and you continued bowling after college, right?
I did.
So now you're bowling, so now you're like, I may want to run tournaments, or I kind of maybe want to be on the other side of bowling. So what made you want to do that?
Yeah. Well, I would say, like, I was bowling in a TNBA youth league growing up, right? Because of my mom. My mom, 70 Watts. Heavily involved in TNBA.
She's awesome. Y'all don't know her, you know her.
Who is now the vice president for the organization.
Yes, she is. Yes.
So growing up, I always had my TNBA card. I bowled in the youth league. I did the regional tournaments growing up too. But then in college at the time, so much has changed, right? Because before you could bowl for scholarship, you couldn't bowl for money, you couldn't bowl in league.
NIL what? NIL?
Right, what is that? So
like NIL, that didn't even exist.
Nah, we didn't have no NIL, no nothing. I couldn't even bowl for scholarship money back then, right?
They had eyes on us if we bowled just regular league. Yes. Like, did they win money? Are they getting money?
Yeah, it was so like, it was so crazy. So we the cool thing, I'm sorry. there is literally 2 youth bowlers out there wearing TNBA gear that are part of the winning team. That's amazing. And they're wearing TNBA gear, right? I love it. So, sorry, back to New York. You cut that right. So,
Hey, like I said, we're outside at a tournament, but how cool. And I'm going to show y'all too. Cieara we'll get to that in a minute.
So, no NIL, nothing like that. So, when I was in college, I still paid for my TNBA membership, right? Because at the end of the day, it's about keeping the organization alive, right? How do they do that? Through their membership.
Yeah.
So even though I couldn't participate in TNBA tournaments, I couldn't participate in TNBA leagues, like I couldn't do any of that.
Yeah.
I still have my TNBA card. But as soon as I graduated, my mom said, "Hey, you're coming to help at the TNBA tournaments." I kid you not. So I graduated early May, and then towards the end of May was the national tournament, and I was working. So I was like, I graduated, and then went straight to work in the national tournament TNBA. And so I was working the tournaments. I got to see the back end of what it was like to work the tournament. I was also bowling in TNBA tournaments, making a name for myself outside of the bowling scene, which because college bowling is so hard, when I got to bowling outside of college, man, I was stroking
lights out. Y'all don't understand those patterns.
Man, so like everybody was like, "Oh, who is she?" Like I was like, "Yo, I just came out of college. Y'all have no idea. Like this is easy compared to what I was bowling on."
Yeah.
And so not only so I was bowling in TNBA tournaments and working TNBA tournaments, so I got to see the front end and the back end of it, and that just kind of opened my eyes so much more to like what it's like to be a part of the organization that I've been paying for a membership for so long, right?
I know that's right.
And then seeing the ways to help improve it, right? Because I feel like so many people, like they'll bowl in something and complain, but then don't want to be a part of the improvement, right?
Yeah.
And so that's how I started. It was like, okay, so you're working tournaments now, bringing new ideas to the organization while bowling, while working, and then just from that, I started getting to know the other directors, the national directors of tournaments, and he saw my interest and he said, "Hey, I think you'd be a great fit for a director."
Why wouldn't she be? Of course.
And I was like, "Wait, me?"
Yeah.
He's like, "Yeah." I said, "I'm so young, right?" Like at the time, literally, I was young, super young, and just like I want to say 2 years out of college, maybe. And so he said, "No, I think," he said, "You're young, you bring great ideas to the table. You have experience, you have a degree." He was like, "So it's not like you're someone that doesn't have the ability to do it."
Yeah.
He was like, "You just need the opportunity, and I'm willing to take the opportunity to give you the opportunity to take that risk." And so then I became the director for the Southern Regional Tournament, which was at the time the youngest director the TNBA ever had. And so just from there, I was just staying involved and seeing how I could help the Southern region, also continue to help at the national level, bringing new ideas, not throwing away the old ones, but combining them, right? The old ideas and the new ideas, and developing new things, right? Which to this day they still incorporate some of the changes that I brought about then. So that's what made me decide to take that next step as a director. Someone believed in me, and then I also wanted to be a part of something bigger than me to help it grow.
I love that. All right, so see, I'm just so grateful. I'm like, I could talk to you for hours,
right?
We got to keep it short and sweet. Everybody's attention span, they may not be it, but I want to touch on this last part. So let's talk about where you are today. So you have a company called Stitches and Dye.
Co-owner, yep.
And so beautiful display that y'all see on the screen right now. So talk to us a little bit about coming into another side, or coming into the other side of bowling. So we talked about the TNBA, but this is now another side where it's a business. So talk to us about what motivated you to start this business and kind of where you all are today, and what do you sell, by the way?
Okay, so we've been blessed enough to have an opportunity to be the official vendor for TNBA, National Bowling Association, right? The Stitches and Dye, we've been around since 2016. By the way, it started with all collegiate female bowlers. And so at the time, the crazy thought was, hey, TNBA needs a vendor. Wouldn't it be wild if we were to be the vendor for the National Bowling Association? Like
No
literally,
dreams are too big. No dreams are too big.
just a crazy thought one day, right? Because it was like, man, like it's all about branding. It's all about seeing people wear, wear and support an organization that has so much value, right?
Absolutely.
For those that don't know, TNBA is the oldest bowling organization in the world. The oldest bowling organization in the world. And what that means is that, yes, there are other bowling organizations that have been around for a while, but they've either been sold to another organization or they've just kind of gone away, right? Or another one has been like, hey, we'll just overtake you and give you another name. But we've been the National Bowling Association since day one.
Man,
so, and there's so much rich history in that.
Yeah.
And so it was more of how do we get more people to wear that? And how do we become a part of that? And so that's how we started the business. That's the short side of how we started the business, right?
Okay.
And then we didn't win the bid the first year. Then we became a temporary vendor at a time where they were kind of in between, right? So we started the business to become a vendor for TNBA. That was our sole purpose, right?
Yeah.
And then we didn't get the bid, so we didn't win. It was like, oh man. But we had all this equipment, so we're like, well, we got to keep going.
Yeah.
So we kept going, and then some things happened to where they needed a temporary vendor. We said, hey, now's our time.
Absolutely.
So we asked, and they said, yeah, you guys can be the temporary vendor.
Yeah.
So we were the temporary vendor until they were able to get all their logistics and everything together, and then they were looking for bids for people to become the official vendor. So we had to think long and hard about it because at the time, I was leaving to join the military, and two of my other partners, one had just had a baby and the other one was pregnant. And so it was like, how in the world are we going to be able to continue what we're doing now when all of us are going on, like, starting new chapters, right?
Absolutely. Yeah.
So we didn't want to dissolve the business, but at the same time, we knew we couldn't take on the TNBA.
Yeah.
And so fast forward, years later, look at us. Full circle, right? Like, where it's like the opportunity presented itself again. All of us were in good positions to be able to continue this journey. And we said, hey, let's do it.
I love that.
And so here we are. It's been a dream come true to be on this side of the organization because, like I tell people all the time, it's not about the business, right? Like, yes, we have the business, but it's more about seeing more people wear TNBA apparel, right? It's about the branding. It's about getting this information out there because why don't more people know that the National Bowling Organization, the National Bowling Association exists, and then it's rich history behind it. So being someone that started as a youth bowler, came up right after college and started participating, being a director, and then now having an opportunity to co-own a business that is now the official vendor for the National Bowling Association. Like, it feels good. It's a dream come true. It's a blessing.
You're in your element, bro.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
I love it. I love seeing people out here in TNBA gear.
Yeah, no, I love that. Man, Gail, we have to shorten this down, y'all. I promise you there's more details. Well, maybe we could do a part 2 or part 3 later.
Right?
But, there are so many young bowlers out there watching this. You've done so much. You've impacted literally not just the collegiate bowling community, but the entire bowling community so much.
Thank you.
What advice would you give to somebody out there that may be looking to do something outside of bowling? And maybe they don't even know that there's a other side of the sea, right? They don't know what's on the other side of the grass, that there is, what do they say? I don't know. There's some sayings out there, but I guess what advice would you give to young bowlers out there that maybe are looking to aspire to get into bowling and not just bowl, but to actually get into it and do different things?
My thing is, if you believe in something, right? Which, if you would have asked me this back when I started working tournaments in 2009, that I'd be where I am today, no way, Jose, right? I'll be like, no, what are you talking about? But it was something, whether I was ready for it or not, it was something that I was called to do.
Absolutely.
And I don't like hearing people complain about something but don't want to do anything about it. right?
That part.
So
That
if
part.
there's something you're passionate about, but you see that there are areas that could use a little help, right? A little TLC, or you want to be a part of something bigger than you and be a part of the legacy, right? Because we're building a legacy at the end of the day.
Yeah.
Then
Absolutely.
do what it takes to help that organization grow rather than doing what it takes to bring it down, right? At the end of the day, I want to see the National Bowling Association continue to grow,
Yeah.
continue to spread its wings, continue to reach to more and more people, including our youth, which is why we are here at a youth tournament.
Absolutely.
Because prior vendors didn't come to youth tournaments.
Yeah.
And so it's like, hey, to see our youth in this gear, this is where it starts.
It is.
Right?
This is the future.
It is. It really is.
Yeah.
And so it starts with them wearing that jersey that they're proud to wear that says the National Bowling Association on there.
Yeah.
And so that's all I can say. Don't give up. If you see a problem, not necessarily a problem, but if you see somewhere that could use the passion that you have for it, then put that passion into good use to helping something grow rather than bring it down.
I love that. Well, thank you again.
Thank you for having me.
Y'all don't
Appreciate
understand.
you.
We go way back. But again, thank you for having us. Make sure that you guys like, share, and subscribe. Share this with somebody. And we will see you guys on the next episode. Bye-bye.